Morant with a running start. Elevate! Dunks! Oh my goodness! Tie game in overtime. Gasol will turn his heat. It's gone! Memphis on top. 7-10 remaining. Conley now with three. Count it! A 15-point lead for Memphis. And Blake Griffin gets into it on the floor with Randolph. Hard to tell if there are any punches being thrown under there, but Griffin took acceptance. Adams going long. Morant! He hit it! John Morant, insanity!
You gotta be kidding me.
Welcome to Grits and Grinds, a Memphis Grizzlies podcast. Grizzlies win edition. My name is Keith Parrish. The Grizzlies upset the Philadelphia 76ers to bounce back from their NBA Cup loss to the Nuggets. They were led by Jaren Jackson Jr., who scored 25 points. The team made a season-high 19 three-pointers to build a large lead. Then they barely hung on as they essentially refused to play the final 6 minutes of the game. But regardless of the ending of the game, the Grizzlies get a much-needed victory and improve to 9-7 on this season. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about the victory. Before I do, just a word from Underdog Fantasy. If you want to play fantasy sports for cash, if you want to pick highers or lowers, if you want to do season-long best ball, daily fantasy against just your friends, you can do all of that at Underdog. And if you use my promo code FBBF, Underdog will match your deposit up to $1,000, plus give you a free sign-up pick. So if you want to try that out, use that promo code FBBF or click the link in this episode's description. All right, the Grizzlies were in fact underdogs to a 76ers team that for the first time all year was going to have their big three available. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George. They did all play together for a few minutes in the first half, but it did not end well for that big three. Paul George, at the start of the third quarter, hyperextended his knee. It's the knee that he hyperextended in the preseason, caused him to miss the first few games of the year. Maxey was on a minutes limitation and was extremely rusty. Missed a ton of shots. He looked like Desmond Bane in that second Nuggets game. Embiid had 35 points, but the guy's not moving that well, and the Sixers now fall to 2-12, which frankly is hard to imagine. But the Grizzlies beat them largely because of the three-point shot. The Grizzlies hit 5 threes in the first quarter. They had 8 in the second quarter, so that's 13 three-pointers in the first half. They were 13 for 26 from the three-point line. In their previous 4 games, 13 was the most they'd made in any game. So they hit that in the first half. They finish with 19 made threes, and that was the difference in the game. Now, the Grizzlies before this game got some more updated injury news. None of it was very surprising. We assumed that Vince Williams Jr. was not going to be available. I'm guessing he's going to be out for at least a couple of weeks after that twisted ankle that he suffered against the Nuggets. Still no Marcus Smart for this game. Marcus Smart missed his 3rd game due to illness. I hope he gets better soon. But that means Marcus missed his 71st game as a Grizzly. He's played in a total of 27 of 98 possible games since joining the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have won 9 of those games that he appeared in. But Marcus Smart wasn't available. John Conchar missed the game with illness. No Vince Williams Jr. So you were, once again, rather shorthanded. You did start the same starting lineup that you've been using in previous games. Scottie Pippen Jr., Desmond Bane, Jalen Wells, Brandon Clark, and Jaren Jackson Jr. You did get a boost from a new player. Cam Spencer made his season debut. That man sprained his ankle in the days leading up to training camp. This is the first time he's had an opportunity to get out there, and they needed him. I mean, they just frankly probably needed another body. He actually was part of a little spurt in the second quarter where the Grizzlies went on a run. He was on the court. Also, I guess the big storyline for this game is that Taylor Jenkins secured his 215th regular season victory, and that now means he is first in Grizzlies franchise history in regular season coaching wins. He did finally pass Lionel Hollins. He still trails Lionel Hollins when it comes to the postseason. But congratulations to Taylor Jenkins getting that victory and becoming first all-time in franchise history with that 215th regular season coaching win. Now, Jaren led the team with 25 points. In the final 6 minutes of the game, where the Grizzlies stopped playing, Jaren's the only one who scored. Jaren made 2 field goals, both of them on, I would say, borderline awkward post-ups against Joel Embiid. One was right-handed, one was left-handed. He's just banging against Embiid, kind of falls over, throws it in off the glass. Those were the only 2 baskets the Grizzlies got in the final 6 minutes. They had 7 shot attempts and 5 turnovers in the final 6 minutes. 5 turnovers against 0 assists. They missed all of the 3-point attempts. I'll be honest, I was super relieved when the Grizzlies made a ton of 3-pointers in the first half. It was like, oh, finally, we're making 3-pointers. After missing so many in the previous 3 games, all right, the 3s are going in. We've built this lead. Things are going poorly for the Sixers. Embiid doesn't look 100%. Maxey doesn't look 100%. Paul George has left the game. Let's take care of business. But then, when Desmond Bane turned the basketball over and led to a Kelly Oubre run-out dunk, and the Grizzlies were only up 6 with a minute and a half left, I was a combination of stunned and furious. It's like, what are we doing? All we have to do is not turn the basketball over. And they kept turning the basketball over. By the way, they finished with 19 turnovers. They still turned the basketball over so much. Like, they had 11 assists in the first quarter, which is excellent. But they also had 5 turnovers in the first quarter. That's the reason the game was tied at 31 after the first quarter, as opposed to having the Grizzlies being ahead. The Grizzlies had 11 assists, had made 5 3-pointers against the Sixers, only making 2 3-pointers. It's a tie game because they're turning the basketball over. Right now, the Grizzlies are 27th in the percentage of possessions that end in turnovers. I don't know if it's not having your primary ball handlers available. We see the other team rack up a lot of steals. The Sixers got a season-high 12 steals in the loss to the Nuggets on Tuesday night. The Nuggets had a season-high for them 15 steals. That 15 steal number, that's the most steals a Grizzlies opponent has had since 2020. So the Grizzlies are not taking care of the basketball. The ball handlers are not taking care of the basketball. And then when they pass, the passes are not very accurate. And some of that I do think you can blame on the new offense. We see multiple attempts at backdoor cuts where the pass is stolen. Santi had one of these. I think Cam Spencer's one turnover was one of these, where they do a bounce pass to a guy who was cutting and the defender just picks the pass off. And these turnovers are directly leading to points. The Sixers had 27 points off of turnovers, which is a really high number. So the Grizzlies right now, when the 3s go in, you look pretty good, but still the turnover issue is a problem. Hopefully that will be addressed, not just by the players who are available, but when Ja Morant comes back. Even though he was turning the ball over a lot, hopefully the team turnover numbers will be a little bit better when you have a slightly better ball handler available to you. But Jaren led the team in scoring with 25 points. This is the 7th time in the last 8 games that Jaren has led the team in scoring. The only exception was the previous game against the Nuggets, where Santi Aldama had 28 points. Jaren also had 2 blocks and a steal, only had 4 rebounds. He did go 7 out of 7 from the foul line. Desmond Bane had a huge bounce back in this one. Desmond Bane scored 21 points. Maybe more importantly, he played a season high 35 minutes? 35 minutes for one of our best two players? Hey, now, here we go. Picking up steam there. But Desmond Bane played 35 minutes, had a huge first half, scored 16 points in the first half, only had 5 in the second half. But 21 points, made 5 out of 11 three-pointers, had his second double-double in his last 3 games, did it with rebounds again right now for the season. He's averaging almost 7 rebounds per game, but he had 21 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, and a block, had 4 turnovers. To see Desmond play this way, it's what the team needs. And maybe when Ja Morant's out, you're not going to win many games when Desmond Bane has an off game. So having Desmond bounce back, and again, we were monitoring the low number of three-point shots he was having. He took 11 in this game. I had monitored the fact that it had been 4 straight games where he hadn't made at least 2 three-pointers, and that's a weird statistical aberration for Desmond. Well, he made 5 in this game, part of that 3-point barrage. Now, something notable about the rotation, yes, they started the same starting lineup they've been using, but they did modify the rotation a good bit. You remember the thing I was talking about in a previous episode where when you come to your decision on how you're going to handle Desmond Bane and Jaren's minutes and how many of the minutes are you going to play them together, and then if you stagger them where one is on the court at all times, that of course reduces the amount of minutes available where they're both together. I was like, would you rather have 24 minutes where all the lineups are pretty good, which is what happens when you spread out their minutes and they don't overlap as much, but at least one's on the court at all times? Or would you rather have 6 to 12 minutes of really good lineups and then maybe some other lineups that aren't as good? I was saying, I don't know what the best answer is. Well, in this game, they sort of chose the second option because there were a couple of stretches where both Desmond and Jaren were off the court. That meant there were more minutes when they actually played together. And whether or not you consider that a gamble, I don't know. But if it was a gamble, it paid off, because one of those stretches where Desmond and Jaren were both off the court, you had this 3-point assault from the bench guys. Luke Kennard comes in and gets really hot. Jay Huff hits a big 3-pointer. This is the start of the second quarter. You go on a small run to get up by 8-9 points while Desmond and Jaren are both on the bench. That's the fun of the 3-point variance. You can sit down your 2 best players, and maybe the theory of the Grizzlies rotation, the theory of their offense, is if you make enough 3-pointers, you can endure these stretches, and it worked out great. Also off the bench, you had Santi Aldama with another great game. Jake LaRavia, another good game. All those guys getting involved in the 3-point assault. Santi, 2 out of 3 from the 3-point line, meaning he's now 6 for 10 on threes the past 2 games after that 10-game slump he was on. Jake LaRavia made all 4 of his field goal attempts, including his only 3-point attempt. So 11 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block for Jake. Jake has had a tremendous season. Right now on the year, he's 40% on his 3-pointers. Those totals are 15 made threes out of 37 attempts. In the month of November, here's the cherry-picked stat for you. In the month of November, Jake LaRavia is one of 6 players in the NBA to average at least 4 assists per game, 1 steal per game, and 1 block per game. The other guys to do it: Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, James Harden, Jalen Williams, Bam Adebayo, and Jalen Johnson. So Jake, in way fewer minutes than what those guys are playing, is racking up some really nice stats, averaging in the month of November, that's the last 10 games, he's averaging 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block per game while making 48% of his 3-pointers. That's the last 10 games. In my Grizzlies Slack channel, where you guys can join and talk with me and other Grizzlies fans about the Grizzlies, that's over at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. Some of the patrons were pointing out that decision to decline Jake LaRavia's 4th-year team option doesn't look very good right now. No, it does not. Jake LaRavia is playing so well. He's been one of the most consistent players this entire season. Even when his shooting is not consistent, his defense, his rebounding, and passing has been consistent in every game. And now that he's making three-pointers, looks like a great guy you would love to have on your team. And now he's going to be an unrestricted free agent who you can't pay more than $5 million a year for. So we're ruining that decision right now, but in the present, Jake LaRavia's good play is really helping you out. So LaRavia good off the bench. Aldama good off the bench. He also had a bunch of assists. Aldama with 6 assists off the bench to go with his 12 points. Kennard made 3 out of 5 3-pointers for 12 points and 4 assists total. Jay Huff had 8 points, 2 out of 6 from the 3-point line. The 3-point assault from the Grizzlies also boosted by Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells in the start had a really strong performance, made all 3 of his field goal attempts in the first quarter. One of those was a 3-pointer. Finished 2 for 4 from the 3-point line to have 14 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. Now, the only player not helping from the 3-point line, that's our guy, Brandon Clark. I mean, the only players who played who didn't make a 3-pointer, Cam Spencer, he took 1, and Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark took 3 more 3-pointers. One of them, okay, it was a short shot clock. They inbounded to him in the corner. That's a fine shot with 3 or 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Go and take that. But Brandon missed 3 more 3-pointers for the season, 1 out of 16 from the 3-point line. Here's another fun fact. Brandon Clark hasn't made more than 1 3-pointer in his season since the 2021-2022 season. Of course, last year he only played a few games. The year before that, he played a bunch of games, only made 1 3-pointer. 1 for 16 on 3-pointers. Please stop shooting them. I know he has the green light, but I think I'm ready to be done with the Brandon Clark shooting a corner 3-pointer. You're wide open for a reason. On 2-pointers, he's better. He's 60% on 2-pointers this season. I still like him starting, even though his net rating took a hit in this one, as he was a team worst in plus-minus in this game. But I still like Brandon Clark starting. I think his activity, his energy is good. His defense is good. The way he pairs with Jaren, very, very good. The Grizzlies are an excellent defense in no small part because Brandon Clark is on the court. Just stop shooting 3-pointers, buddy. And then everything, I think, will be okay. Scottie Pippen Jr., he made 2 out of 4 3-pointers, but he was only 1 out of 6 on his 2-pointers. He finishes with 8 points and 3 assists. Over the last 5 games, his field goal percentage has plummeted. He's only shooting 32% in those games. It still feels very important, though, especially when the offense slows down, just to get him out there to facilitate a little bit. He's not a great facilitator, but he can usually get by his guy a fair amount. So it feels like at times when things really bog down, the final half of the fourth quarter, the minutes he wasn't out there, it was like we're not, again, generating any good looks. We're not getting any easy shots. We're not getting in the paint. Also for the game, the Grizzlies only had 38 paint points, which is very low for them. I mean, again, you make 19 3-pointers. You don't need those offensive rebound putbacks because the ball is actually going in. For the season now, the Grizzlies are 8-2 when they make 12 or more 3-pointers. They are 1-5 when they make fewer than 12 3-pointers. The Grizzlies made all 16 of their free throws in this game. That's after missing 12 free throws in the loss to the Nuggets. So there's a big-time positive regression in this game for the Grizzlies, both with the 3-pointers and the free throws. Jaren was 7 for 7 from the foul line. Jake LaRavia only made 2 free throws. He was 2 for 2, but in Jake's last 7 games, he's 16 for 17 from the foul line. We knew that low free throw percentage was not going to stick. Some more words on Cam Spencer's season debut. He ran around a lot out there passing the basketball. He was not looking to score or shoot. It felt like, good job when you're on the court with Santi Aldama and Jay Huff and Jake LaRavia and Luke Kennard. Those guys are going to shoot. So Cam can be that connective piece. So he finishes with 2 assists. Also got a block in his 9 minutes of playing time. And I think that's everything from this game. In other Grizzlies news, Draymond Green on his podcast called out Taylor Jenkins, called him Janky Jenkins, which honestly kind of works for me. It's a fun nickname. He called him out for being too emotional. He blamed Taylor Jenkins for being the reason why the Grizzlies lost to the Warriors in the playoffs a couple years ago. I think the tally for reasons why the Grizzlies lost to the Warriors, according to Draymond, is now Dylan Brooks and Taylor Jenkins. He's previously blamed Dylan Brooks at times. He also was calling out Taylor Jenkins for whining to the referees after the game, whining to the league about the uncalled flagrant foul on Zach Edey. Taylor was asked about these comments. He didn't say anything. He said he just loves his team and basically, had a no comment for that situation. Draymond is just an ideal wrestling heel. He's just stoking the flames of rivalry, also trying to generate clicks and downloads for his podcast. Don't listen to his podcast. Listen to my podcast. Listen to this one. Also listen to my other one, Fast Break Breakfast. The Grizzlies' next game is Saturday, a road game against the Bulls, a revenge opportunity for the Grizzlies. And then Thanksgiving week, they return home for 4 straight games. You got the Trailblazers, the Pelicans, the Pistons, and the Pacers. You're going to be favored in all of those games. The Grizzlies are going to be favored in at least their next 5 games. This is a huge opportunity to bank some wins. The West, as you know, is extremely competitive. All the teams are bunched together. You really need to win the winnable games to help yourself in the standings. Will Ja Morant return during any of the next 5 games? Will Zach Edey come back in any of the next 5 games? We will hope so, but we obviously don't know the answer to that. Anyways, thanks everybody for listening. If you want to support this program, if you want to join that Grizzlies Slack channel, do it at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. If you want to try out Underdog Fantasy, remember that promo code FBBF. All right. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Go Grizz.